Hello and welcome to Life in the Mind, a neurodivergent podcast presented by neurodivergent people. I'm Joy Amy Wigman.
Oh, and I'm Murray Spear.
Murray Spear, who is definitely here.
Yeah. In physical being.
We've all got a little bit of the giggles this afternoon. I think we've kind of gone past the point where our brains will function as I'm going to stop there.
Because words.
Eddie, I'm just going to take that whole thing again. So just ignore the whole of this. Cool. Lovely.
I love that. You should have definitely used it.
I liked it.
I liked it.
It just was very
words.
It's very neurodivergent.
Okay, if you haven't already deleted that, Eddie, undelete it and use
it. This is going really well.
It'll go really well.
Yeah.
Today's episode is Life in the Mind of Verity White.
How terrifying.
Does sound like some kind of nightmare.
It does.
Hi, Verity.
Hello.
We've brought Verity in to talk about various aspects of neurodivergence. And I guess I should open with the opening question so that we know why you can talk about this.
Yes.
What is your relationship with neurodivergence?
I'm in a polyamorous relationship with ADHD.
Yeah, beautiful.
Thank you.
Yeah. Except it feels like the ADHD imposes more rules.
I definitely feel like my ADHD exists in a different brain to my other brain, and it's almost like two entities. I struggle with it quite a lot. It feels like another person living inside me, not in a sexy way.
Not in a sexy way.
No. Or a murdery way.
Way.
Child, birth
way. Yeah, I don't know. Or like a childbirth way. Pregnancy. That's the word.
Pregnancy,
yeah.
Childbirth.
Not that either.
It's late in the day when we did this. Because that's something that I'm really interested in, is sort of people's relationship with their neurodivergence. Does it feel like you've got another person doing stuff or leading you astray?
I think I'm very good at doing that on my own, but I think that is ADHD's influence over me as well.
The person who leads me astray is Verity White.
Yeah. A white mare. It's like a nightmare, really. Yeah, a bit scary. I think it does feel like... So ADHD is an inherent part of me and my personality and who I am, and I wouldn't be who I was without it. But it does, certainly on days when I'm having a really difficult day, feel like it is very much at odds with what I'm trying to do and achieve. So it often feels to me like there are two entities. There's me trying to do the things that I'm trying to do, and then there's ADHD me going, no, don't do those things, glitter. And it's not always, they're not always trying to do the same thing.
Yeah, I can relate to that with that kind of part of my brain. It's just autistic brain wants to routine and plan things, and ADHD brain's doing things.
Yeah, I mean, it's just often classic example. I know I need to cook dinner, so fairly simple thing. People go, "Oh, what are we having for dinner?" One of the worst questions anyone can ask me is, "What am I having?" If I've not planned and I don't know what's going to happen for dinner, then if I'm in a low executive functioning day, I open the fridge. There are ingredients to make food, loads of lovely ingredients to make food. But can I make a decision? No, I can't make a decision. I don't know what I'm going to make. It's too confusing. My brain's thinking about, I don't know, a painting or a song or what's going to happen in Reacher next week, or God knows what else. What are the cats doing? Who knows? Could be anything. Coming up with a million different inventions. And the last thing I want to think about is, how am I going to slice up the carrots or something?
Yeah, the boring stuff.
Yeah. And the most annoying thing is I love cooking. But my ADHD brain doesn't actually let me do it.
And getting all the steps together.
Yeah, the steps. There's too many steps.
Dysfunction.
Yeah.
Oh, but I've got to cut carrots. But to cut carrots, I've got to get the knife out the drawer, and I've got to get the chopping board, and then I've got to chop the thing, and then I've got to put them in the thing, and then I cut enough carrots.
Yeah, I'm just going to eat a raw carrot. That's easy.
I snack on raw carrots a lot, just because they're really good. They're really good snack.
So good. Yeah, very good for you, carrots. Mm-hmm.
Apparently carrots are very good for you.
Yeah. This podcast is sponsored by carrots.
I have a bit of a problem with the texture of raw carrot.
Too crunchy.
It's too crunchy. It's too crunchy for me.
Oh, I really like that aspect.
I like the crunch.
Yeah.
It's loud as well, which is good.
This table seems to be the perfect ADHD versus autism. Because you've got Verity with the ADHD, you've got Murray with the autism and the ADHD, and then on the other side, me with the autism.
I think we're a lovely little rainbow.
A lovely rainbow.
Yeah.
It's like sitting inside my brain. It's like these two different.
We are forever going to be the two little angels and demons on your shoulders going, no, play with the glitter, play with the glitter.
Constantly getting confused.
I would, just for the record, I would never say no to playing with glitter.
Yeah.
Whereas I dislike glitter because it gets everywhere for ages.
It
I
does,
love
and then
it.
everything's sparkly. What
Everything
would you
is
not like
sparkly.
about
It's
that?
just like out of nowhere it sparkles. It's like, oh, I didn't do anything with glitter for 5 years, but I once was in a show. I went to see a show where there was glitter at some point, and so now there's glitter
Attached to you forever.
in my skin somewhere. Randomly will turn up.
Perfect. Love
It's
it.
horrific. It is awful.
So, bringing us on from glitter. So the thing of whether your neurodivergence is you or whether it feels like there's another kind of pull.
Yeah.
Like I feel that like this morning Paul made a joke, and part of me is like, oh, that's a really funny joke. And part of me is taking it literally and is really annoyed about what he's just said. And for some reason, now that I'm unmasking, I can't seem to tell the side that found it funny, but they're the one that needs to react out loud. So, so rather than the laughing, I'm getting the, why would you say that? That's a really horrible thing to say to me. Like, which makes Paul laugh because,
Yeah. I love it.
the more uncomfortable people are with jokes, the better. So like, how old were you when you sort of discovered your neurodivergence?
So I've always felt like I always felt like I didn't fit in and I wasn't like right and I wasn't me, and I had a lot of diagnoses over my life of various different things: borderline personality disorder, severe anxiety disorder, generalized anxiety disorder, major depressive episodes, the usual catalogue of delightful things. And I started looking into ADHD actually when COVID hit. So I was 41 maybe at the time, and spoke to a friend of mine who has ADHD, Joe. Hello, Joe. And I said, Joe, do you think that I might have ADHD? And he just laughed and said yes. I was like, oh, okay. And then I started looking into it more. And I actually went for a private diagnosis with a psychiatrist in Harley Street. I didn't go through 360 or anything like that. I wanted to go to an adult ADHD specialist. And this is actually before any of those scandals or anything kicked off with all of that.
Yeah.
So I got a referral from the GP. I went to the specialist and then got the diagnosis. And he actually said to me, I don't normally do this before I've kind of had all of your papers back and like read through all of your tests, etc. But you have ADHD.
You walked in the room and I knew. You were buzzing with energy and you couldn't look at one thing for more than a second.
Oh my God, honestly, it was just so funny. And he was just, laughing with me, not at me, because I thought it was funny as well. So I got all of that diagnosed then. So I've really only been living my neurodivergent life and kind of unmasking and working out sort of who I am. And like you said, what is me? What is the neurodivergency that I'm living with? How does that impact and affect me? And trying to unpick it, but stitch it back together again.
Yeah.
So it's only been like 3 years or so. So yeah.
Did it change your relationship with yourself in any way?
Yes. So honestly, I had a huge amount of relief because I'd always just felt like, what is wrong with me? Like, why? I just don't fit into all these situations, and like everything feels so weird, and I get angry about these funny things, and I never knew, and I've been through so many different counsellors and therapists and all these different things, and it never kind of got to the bottom of it. So there was a huge relief, like, oh my God, light bulb moment. And then I started looking into it all. I was like, oh my God, even more bigger light bulb moment. Because it's not just, turn off. I'm overstimulated now. And then because you look at the NHS list of this is ADHD and it only says like 3, 4, 5 things. And it's not really, that's not what it's like living with ADHD.
No.
At all. Yeah. So when I started looking into it, I was like, oh my God, all of these things that I have beaten myself up for, that I've hated myself for, I managed to start dealing with the guilt and the shame of 40 years of feeling like that about myself. And I'm still on that journey now. And I think I probably always will be. But it certainly has unpacked a lot of that for me.
allow that kind of process, the process of processing to start.
Yeah, exactly. And knowing when I can't process things, which is equally as a thing. So it's a massive veil, I think, has been lifted. Like, now I understand why I don't like, going to the supermarket. It's not just because it's a faff, it's because it's overstimulating, it's loud, it's really, really bright. If I'm not in the right place, I've not had enough sleep that day, or I'm, in a funny processing day, then I'm not going to be able to cope. I'm going to have a breakdown if I go to the supermarket. I understand why I used to run out of situations. I understand my relationship with alcohol a lot more now, which I never understood, why I was just drinking to try and, quiet my brain. Yeah. So it's been a lot.
Yeah. It's a lot to unpack, isn't it?
Yeah.
But it's
learning about your fundamental being is different to what you thought.
Yeah.
Like, literally, your baseline brain wiring is different.
Yeah.
To how you perceived it for the rest of for your life thus far.
Yeah.
Of course you find this thing difficult. Yeah. It's not made for you.
Yeah.
It's made for other people. It's not made for you to do.
And you do look back and think, oh, if I'd have known. But I've tried not to do that too much, because I think that I'll just get angry. And I did go through a little bit of that, but majoritively it was more relief than anything else, because it was just like, there's a reason why I am like this. Yeah. And it's not me being crap or awful or horrible or a bad person. It's actually I'm wired differently.
Yeah.
And like processing about how your brain is wired is so different, because you've been taught from a really young age, you work like this. And I'm like, I work like this, except I don't work like this, and I'm feeling very sad about the fact that I don't work like this. Yeah. And then it's like, oh no, I don't work like this. Oh, fantastic.
That's why, like you said, you get that knowledge, because you learn to know that you are wrong.
Yeah.
Because you don't fit into, you work like this and I don't work like this, so I am therefore wrong.
Yeah, someone has decided that this is the way we do things, and this is the way that human beings do things. Yeah. But actually, no.
I am a human being, and I don't.
Yeah. I actually
way.
had a really weird relationship with myself, where I didn't really know if I was a human being or not. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
It's like slightly almost disassociated from
I do struggle with a lot of disassociation. I still struggle with that quite a lot. Yeah. I just didn't fit in so much and was ostracized by a lot of people. I kind of just felt like maybe I wasn't a real human being.
Yeah. No, I do. I get that.
Yeah.
I didn't quite feel, especially when I was a kid, I didn't quite feel that I quite existed.
Yep.
I read a lot of sci-fi. I got into a lot of stuff to do with AI and AI written consciousness and all that kind of stuff. And I started like, oh my God, maybe that's why I'm different.
People like us,
right?
Where have those things come from?
Yeah.
Slightly like, I guess no, but like, where is like the changeling?
Yeah.
The changeling myth, the changeling folkloric trope.
But isn't that exactly what masking is?
Yeah.
Like, because I never really knew who I was, because every group of people that I was with, I was a different person.
Mm-hmm.
I'd go to work, I'd be a different person. Yes. I'd be at school, I'd be a different person. I'd be with these people, I'd be a different person. I never had a group of friends. Mm-hmm. I just had random friends dotted around who it all turns out are neurodivergent. But
hi guys.
Surprise, surprise. But I never had a group because I never fit in with that group.
Yeah.
But you kind of got different personalities for those people, so you are a changeling.
Yeah.
You are.
Yeah.
We've talked before about hats. About the different hats that you put on for the different things, and I thought it was perfectly normal that I was wearing a very different hat. But it wasn't just like, oh, this is my work hat, and this is it was a complete personality.
Yeah, no, same, and it's exhausting.
It's so
like letting go of that and realizing what I've been doing to try and fit in.
And then
has made me realize, like, I know.
You're like, this friend I interact with this hat on.
I know.
This friend I interact with this hat.
And
what will happen when they come together? Don't cross the streams.
Keep them apart, compartmentalise.
Yeah. It's just, no wonder I'm so tired all the time, because I'm effectively being a different person.
Yeah.
Like, wherever I am and what I'm doing. And so coming to terms with that, and then trying to not be a different person.
Yeah.
But also knowing that I probably have to be a different person. So it's like, where's the balance between that?
And then people question you, like, but doesn't everybody do it? And you go, no, they don't. You're neurodivergent.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, wait, are they?
Yeah.
But, it's such a baseline thing of, there is so much we have to do to pretend we enjoy something, especially in British bloody
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Press this. Do these etiquette rules. rules that they made
And if
up.
you have a day where you just are knackered and you can't put that mask on and you can't be that person, everyone's like, are you all right? Are you all right?
Yeah.
You're weird. Are you all right? And you're like, yeah, no, this is just me. I'm knackered. Just like, this is actually just who I am.
Yeah. And actually you're seeing I have this thing where I am aware now that the more time you spend with me, the more of me you will see.
Yeah.
So I'm like,
just take your clothes off
like,
all the time. Put them back on.
But in terms like it's that balance of going, I'm not trying to I don't want you to, I'm not overthinking it, I'm not being anxious about people judging me before they know me or anything. It's just like, you will not know me on first appearance.
But do you also get the thing
instinct,
where you meet someone like once and they think they know you so well and you're their new best friend because you have masked so well and you've become so like them and you've done such a brilliant job of it. They're like, oh my God, we're so similar. And they're like messaging you and like trying to be best mates with you all the time. And you're like, you don't know me. You've got no idea who I am.
No idea.
No, I don't get
You
that.
don't get that?
No,
I get that a lot.
I get people getting confused that they're like, oh my God, do you have like 50 different lives? I'm like, oh shit, I do.
Yeah.
I just, because I'm doing all of these things and I have interest in all of them and skills in all of them, but they all come together and they're all linked in my brain.
Yeah, exactly.
And people are like, what? But you know why do you know that about cows? What?
That's why we are the best people to have at pub quizzes.
Oh yeah, we are brilliant for that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, the amount of stuff, the amount of useless stuff.
Yeah. Put me on a test paper, can't do it. But if you ask me something completely random for a pub quiz, I will know it.
Like in the barrel of stereotypical autistic traits, why did I not get maths? Why did I get random film facts?
Yeah.
Like maths would have been so much more helpful.
You know, right? Why can't I remember any of my teens or 20s yet I can remember all of the song lyrics to the songs that were out?
Yeah, exactly.
Your what's?
I can't remember my teens or 20s.
Teens or 20s.
But I can remember all the songs.
I thought it was a maths thing that
No. Yes, that's regular teens or 20s.
Like, that apparently we were taught that in maths.
I don't know. I would know.
I can remember loads of Shakespeare, but can't remember that. Huh? Useful.
So did you have a moment, a sort of like ta-da moment with people where you went, hey everyone, I'm neurodivergent? Or did you do like a gradual thing, or did you just decide that wasn't for you?
Sort of did. So once I got the official I told obviously my family and close friends that I was going through the tests, and some of my family were like, nah, you're not, because they were just thinking in that very narrow bracket of this is what ADHD says it is on the NHS website, and you did okay at school and you're good at reading a book, so you know. And it's like it's obviously
you've got on stage, you're great with people.
Exactly. So it's very obviously people's knowledge is based on a very small amount of things, and if they don't know deeply about it, they're not going to understand it. So they are just judging you based on their predetermined ideas. So I spoke to a few people about it, and you know, mixed from different members of my family and stuff. My friends all were just like, yeah.
I think that was my reaction. I was like, yeah, no doubt.
Yeah. And then I think I just did like a Facebook post and also a LinkedIn post, so professionally as well. So obviously two different lives, as you know. So as is classic with ADHD, work life, home life, and everything else life. So I did a Facebook post, and I don't think anyone was really surprised. And I did a LinkedIn post, and I just had a lot of people going, oh my gosh, it's so brave of you to talk about. And I was just like, is it brave? Really brave? But I don't know, I just wanted to be really open. I think it's important. So I more from actually the point of view of being open and normalizing talking about it was actually where I was coming from when I did the ta-da thing.
Yeah, because it's important,
isn't
it?
It is important.
The process of normalizing is talking about it and going, well, this is
exactly.
But we are not neurodivergent's babysitter.
No.
It is not our job to make sure that everybody knows everything about it.
No.
People need to be willing to educate themselves.
True.
So I know that sounds weird doing a podcast like this. No, so for me personally, I love doing it. I love being able to talk openly about all the different aspects of my life, whether it's the fibromyalgia, the CPTSD, the autism, depression, anxiety, any of it.
Gotta catch them all.
You gotta catch them all. Yeah, gotta catch all those Pokemon. But that's what's right for me, because that's what I feel. But I don't feel that anybody else should feel the pressure to do that, because you are not responsible for other people's reactions.
No. And some people, it doesn't matter how much information they're given, they're never going to care.
Yeah.
No.
And they're never going to get it.
And that's one of the important things about, the change will come through, the normalization and change will come through kind of sharing stuff, getting it more easily accessible so people can access it. Because the other side of it, to add the nuance to that, because I love a bit of nuance, is that feeling you can feel guilty for not knowing something if you haven't had the opportunity to know it. Because I had so many preconceptions of what autism and ADHD look like.
I think
until I was like, oh my God.
Yeah.
And I went through this process and I was like, whoa, man. Whoa.
Yeah.
And it was, and so I'm really aware of how many, and quite a lot of them were really damaging things. I used to call myself horrible names that terms I would not use. And
not
stuff,
you,
but
me.
I don't even know you. But yeah, and it's so easy to assume that everybody has access to the same information. And so by making what we're doing now, we're freaking awesome, really. We're awesome. But it's that normalizing conversation. The more people talk about it, the more
I think I've got quite good specifically over the last year at describing my reactions and how I'm feeling to other people to make them better understand what it is that has driven that reaction.
Yeah.
So I can now explain, I feel like this because of this, and this is because of this aspect of my ADHD. So, things like going to the supermarket, like I said earlier, I found it overwhelming because I now understand because of these reasons, and I was tired and I wasn't processing it. So I know that that's not a good thing for me to do on a day like that. Or I snapped at you because I was focusing on something and you were trying to talk to me, but I was really trying to focus on the thing. And if I stopped doing the thing, I wasn't going to be able to do the thing anymore. So I snapped at you because I needed you to stop asking me questions. But actually, it wasn't you. It was because I was trying to focus on the thing. But being able to describe that to people so they know that you're not a total asshole is quite the power of words,
It's a tricky thing to negotiate. It is. I'm learning that.
But you also do have to hold yourself to account as well. You can't just use it as a catch-all for being an arsehole to people. You have to go, do you know what, I snapped at you, but I should have been a bit nicer about that. You didn't know that I was focusing on something. And
one of my I have like various tenets that I kind of live by, and one of them is reason, not an excuse. Something is a reason that you act in a certain way or or process something a certain way, but it's not an excuse for how you are acting.
No.
Or for whatever which we
living in a neurodivergent household, we do a lot of kind of that snap and then followed by, I'm really sorry, I shouldn't have done that. The reason that happened is like literally what you're describing, and explaining why that happened. And my husband does the same thing with me. From the ADHD side.
Al's also been doing obviously a lot of reading. Al's my husband, by the way, listeners. He's been doing a lot of reading and exploring things, and so he said, I was doing some reading and I've found out this thing that I think might be quite useful. I know that if I ask you to do something now, you can't do it and you won't do it because don't like being told what to do. But I can't, because I can't just switch from what I'm doing to do that other thing. So he's got into this habit of saying, in the next hour, could you possibly look at sorting out this? And so it's actually gives me time to process it, and then it's more likely that it will happen. I might take my cup to the dishwasher. You never know. I mean, chance me a fine thing, but I might do it.
Giving you an hour.
Yeah, give me an hour. It is more likely. Yeah,
it's a time frame.
It is, rather than change
this moment. Instantly change. Because I can lead to that from the autism. So can you? But I'm on. This is my thing at the moment. I'm ingrained in this. I'm engrossed to it. Engrossed in it, and I can't switch it. If I can't switch out of it right now.
Task.
My brain, it'll take me as long to switch out of it, to like refocus onto the other thing, or engage with the next thing, that you may as well just let me finish this thing.
Even if the other thing is only a thing that's going to take like literally a couple of minutes to do, you just can't physically, actually viscerally feel it when someone, if I'm hyper focused in on something, or if I'm playing a video game or reading a book or something, don't talk to me.
Yeah.
Just don't. just don't talk to me.
Just leave it.
But, you know, if I am hyper-focusing, or if I'm trying to concentrate on something like at work or a specific thing like with art or music or with cooking or something like that, and someone wants me to do something else, if I stop doing the thing that I'm doing, one, I might feel really like viscerally upset because I'm focusing on it. But two, I might never go back to doing it again.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of changing tasks is just really hard.
So I think so I'm going to wrap this up.
Oh yeah, sorry, talking far too much.
I would talk to you for days and days, Verity. But I think a good takeaway for our listeners and our watchers would be, so give your neurodivergent friends and yourself space to change tasks. I think that's a good bit of homework for this week.
Yeah.
Give yourself and other people space to change tasks, and give them that time to process and see whether that makes a difference. And let us know how it goes in the comments, or drop us a message. Thank you very much, Verity, for being with us.
Thank you for having me. I think I've been quite well behaved. So.
Okay, folks, that's it for this episode. You can follow us on Instagram at life.inthemind. Our other socials are linked in our bio. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment. See you next time.